Good afternoon on what is probably the hottest day ever on this planet, or even in the sun. It's hot. But anyway, do you know something I've noticed about going eco, right? Listen, I'm no eco warrior. I am on the same path as you. I'm eco curious and I'm looking for small ways that I can make change because I think that's okay. Also, another big factor in the fact that we're not all eco warriors is pricey. It's pricey to be an environmentalist if you don't do your homework, right? So I'm going to share something with you which will have probably the biggest impact on your personal carbon footprint, which is free. Like, this advice will cost you nothing. So I'm here for that, my friend, and that's why I want to share it with you here. A couple of nights ago, I watched a program with Stacey Dooley talking about fast fashion. You know where I'm going with this, right? It was on the Watch channel, so if you've got Sky and you can get it on demand, I strongly urge you to watch it because it is eye-opening. I'm not a massive fan, well, I'm not a fan of fast fashion, mainly because it just doesn't last long enough, and the trends, I'm not trendy enough. I want classic pieces because I'm of a certain age, babes. I can't pull off the cycling shorts and crop tops of my younger years. Anyway, I was blown away by what I saw on there. And the answer is simple. Stop buying stuff. We do not need the amount of clothes that we are buying. And, you know, every time you look at a piece of clothing, do you need it? I mean, I'm going to get into all of that in a minute, but I wanted to share with you. Now, I've been looking at the Greenpeace website. There is so much information for us out there if we dare to take a look. The problem with taking a look is it probably means that you're going to want to implement change, and change can be scary, and change is a psychological thing, not just an instantaneous thing. All of those things that we need to consider. But change is needed, so desperately needed. I mean, on this program, I'm not going to do it justice now because I can't remember the country that they were in. I want to say Uzbekistan or something like that. I'm not great with the world map, that's for sure. But basically, someone here will know. Put it in the comments if you've watched it, and put it in the comments if you remember what country it was. But there was an actual sea that was as big as Ireland, the whole country of Ireland. And that sea is gone. It has been used up by all the cotton fields that are being mass produced for fast fashion. So anyway, that I could go into the whole program, but you can do your own research online. But on Greenpeace, I'm just want to pull out a few things for you to make you really understand how important it is that we really address our fashion consumption, especially the fast fashion. Did you know, for instance, that the fashion industry is the second biggest contributor to global warming or to climate change, or whatever we're calling it these days? In that the first one is fossil fuels, obviously, and the second one is the textile industry, the fashion industry. Terrifying. Who knew that was such a big offender of our planet? And then when you start reading about it, you're like, oh God. So since I'm going to read directly off the Greenpeace website, because if you haven't noticed, I'm not great with retaining facts, and I want them to be facts, so I'm going to read them directly. But please go and look on the Greenpeace website and find out more about this. Since 2000, we buy twice as much and wear it only half the time, which makes you think, why are we buying all this stuff if you're not wearing it for its lifespan? Or, you know, like, why do we need to buy it? We're just robotic consumers now. It's just become. Also, they were saying on the show about how trends used to be like a seasonal trend. So every season they'd bring out their new trend. They do it weekly now. Weekly trends. So to keep up with these weekly trends, you are shopping every single week for this week's trend. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. In the last 15 years, production of clothing has doubled, and at the same time, between 2000 and 2015, the number of times a garment has been worn before it was thrown out has decreased by 36%. 140 million pounds worth 140 million pounds worth of clothing is sent to landfill every year in the UK. And more than half of clothing given to charity shops or textile recyclers, because that's our go-to, right? Oh, I'll just take it to the charity shop and then it's okay. that ends up in landfills or is incinerated. So we can't fall back on well, I'll buy it, wear it twice and take it to the charity shop. Somebody else will get use out of it. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't always work like that. And also we need to consider with that mentality, charity shops are going to be bursting. They're not going to be able to hold all that stock. Where does that stock go? The problem is buying it in the first place. That's where we need to cut it. And then obviously the companies will realise this, and they produce to supply to demand. They'll realise that they can't carry on the way that they're going. The industry's desire for oil-based synthetics, if it continues to grow at the rate, is projected to take up to 26% of the global carbon budget by 2015. I mean, the industry's textile production accounts for global emissions equivalent to 1.2 billion tonnes of CO2 every single year. And that's a bigger carbon footprint than all international flights and shipping combined. This is a huge problem, and we are the ones that can make that change by not feeding into this system, by not thinking, oh, it's only £3 from Primark, so I'll buy 4 of them, or not looking at the cheap fast fashion as an expense financially, but start looking at it as an expense environmentally. So yeah, it might only be £3 and you can afford it and that's great. But what happens to it? Where does it end up? Where has it started? I've talked about this. I'm going to put my laptop down now because that's all the facts you're getting from me. You can do your own research. They're big enough, right? We can't then also just look at where it ends up. This is the same with every single industry that we buy from. This is the same as every industry that right now is selling the TerraCycle scheme. It can be recycled. I have issue with that a little bit, I've got to say, a little bit. Don't forget, I'm only eco-curious. I'm not out there with banners. I'm not taking them on because I don't know enough. But things, H&M, bring your clothes back, we'll recycle and blah, 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 blah. Yes, but if you go into H&M, you're going to buy a new item of clothing. And it's the beginning of the lifespan of this item of clothing that is the problem. It's the beginning. It's the manufacturing of all of these fabrics. So yes, they may take it back in and whatever they do with it, I'm not even sure what H&M do with it, but I know there's some scheme that if you bring it in, we'll recycle it, blah, 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 blah. But it's still loads of energy that they're using every single time. And that goes for any item, single use or low use item. If it says recyclable on the packet, brilliant. They've considered the end of life of the product, but they're not factoring all the energy and all the man hours and all the effort that it takes to get the product produced in the first place. We have to consider reusables of everything. Obviously, sanitary towels for me are a big one because that's every single month. That's a hell of a lot of waste that one person can be contributing to. But we have to look at the same with our fashions. You know, it's really, really time that we started to become more responsible. If you see a nice dress in Matalan for 18 quid and that'll do you for that day at the beach that you've got planned or whatever, what are you going to do with it after that? How much wear are you going to get out of it? Clothes, they can last pretty much a lifetime, right? If you can do amend and all that business like they used to. That we have to remove the stigma and the shame from second-hand clothes. We have to remove the stigma and the shame from not having the latest on-trend thing. Which, to be quite honest, I mean, I know I'm old and all that, but I'm looking around, I'm thinking they are scratching around for new trend ideas because some of it is pretty out there, isn't it? I mean, I remember cycling shorts first time round. That's how old I am, kids. But yeah, if you're like me and you're eco-curious and you're ready to start looking at your life and where you can make changes, and then you get the fear of, oh, but it's also expensive. Organic food is really expensive. Eco-cleaning products are really expensive. Although I will say white wine vinegar and bicarb, what that can't clean, and that is not expensive. You can get that shit from Wilko's. Like that's okay. So that's why you've got to dig a bit deeper. But actually what you need to do is zoom out, look at your whole lifestyle and think, what parts of my life are having the biggest environmental impact? Your fashion is one of them. And that is an easy swap because you start going to like pre-loved sales. You start doing clothes swaps with your friends. You start using upcycled fashion. You know, you use Depop, you use eBay. There is enough clothing on this planet already without making any more new stuff to clothe us. You know, this is the thing. It's actually cheaper to be eco, because I was on eBay yesterday and I saw some Primark stuff on eBay. Like, if Primark's your bag, there's Primark stuff on eBay that is cheaper than Primark. And you can style anything out to look like the latest trend, for sure. So you can add a little patch. I mean, I'm not even going to go there because there's no way I'm that creative. But I've got friends that are. Hello, Jean Genie. Hello, time for breakfast. It's about that. Can you commit to reducing your spend on fast fashion, if not eradicating your spend on fast fashion? This was a H&M dress. I'm not going to lie. This was a H&M dress. I have been wearing this dress for 3 years. It looks like a dress, you know, and it's a dress. So yeah, I am going to have to get into it myself, because my first instinct is, oh, it's easier to just go to the shop and pick up what I want than to scale through eBay and scale through Depop. And what if I feel like just treating myself? Treat yourself then, but make sure that what you buy is ethical to a degree. So basically isn't the cheap shit. And that you are going to love it with all of your heart, and that you are going to get wear out of it time and time and time and time again. So only commit to buying pieces that you know are quality and will last you, rather than just going down the high street and filling a paper bag full of tat that you will wear once, that will probably make you sweat like a heifer because all the shit fabrics in those cheap shops. And then you'll just throw away, or give it to a charity shop so they can throw away. This is a massive environmental crisis, the fashion industry. It's terrifying. So yeah, do your research. Oh, what was the other thing I wanted to tell you? Denim, 10,000 litres of water. We think cotton is a nice sustainable fabric. Oh, it's cotton, I can buy it. No, organic cotton, different matter. Mass-produced cotton is covered in pesticides. It is absolutely just glugging water. Well, this is where the sea has gone. That sea in that country has gone to a cotton farm. It has dried up a whole area of sea. And the knock-on effect of that as well, let's not forget, is in the programme they talk about how the fishermen, so the whole town surrounding this area of water that's disappeared, there's actual camels walking on what was a seabed. So their fishing industries, their, I don't know, I can't list them all because, yeah, facts. But the effect that it has had on the surrounding areas and humanity is also something that we have to consider. There was water that is being, all the factories dump all their crap into another bit of water. Kids are playing in this hugely toxic, carcinogenic water that they liken to asbestos. There are kids playing in this water. There are people drinking this water because the textile factories dump all their shit in this water. We have to zoom out, and we have a responsibility to look at our spending habits and where we can make changes for environmental good. I mean, yeah, save that 20 quid that you were going to throw in Primark's pocket and get yourself something really nice off eBay that will last a lifetime, that will make you feel good, rather than just throwing money away at this fast fashion crap. Yeah, time we made a stand, right? Anyway, I'm going to go and decompress now, but please see if you can find the thing. It's probably on YouTube, isn't it? Stacey Dooley fast fashion. Just put that into Google and see what you find. But it is shocking, and I feel moved to share and to highlight that we all can make a change with this. So yeah. Now, as you were, back to your lives. Thanks for watching.